Hello everyone, welcome to Maggie Books. My name is Maggie and I'm a book designer and illustrator based in London, and I've worked on books such as these. And today I'm going to show you my massive damage that I've done over this few months. I haven't done a video about the books I've been buying and I've been getting for a long time, and I just decided that I needed to show you the damage that has been done. So I have a few books in here. First off, I got the Nicholas Sparks' new book that is called Dreamland, and I've already read this one and I really enjoyed it, but I'm not planning to read it again, so this is going to be going to charity or to a friend that wants to read it, because it's super fun to read. Obviously it's super sweet and cute, but it was not very memorable. So this one is something I got very recently, but it's also something that is going to go. Then I got Fourth Wing, and this book has been on the social media like crazy. People have been talking about it so much, and I've already started reading it. I'm going this far and I'm really enjoying it. It's like Hunger Games but with a lot of dragons. It's basically the same idea of you have a competition and you have like the dragon riders and they have to compete between each other, and obviously lots of people die and it's very intense and there's a lot of action, but it's actually super well written and I'm really enjoying it so far. And I'm not a person that normally reads these action books and actually enjoys them, so that's been surprising for me. Then I got Yellowface, which is a book that everyone is talking about, and it's for a reason. It's actually very good. I'm listening to the audiobook. I got this book yesterday on a book event that they were throwing in the office, and I'm actually very glad I have a physical copy, but I'm finishing listening to the audiobook, and let me tell you, it's totally worth reading it. The hype is real. And it's actually a very good book about this person who stole her friend's manuscript and created a whole book that was stolen, and it has this cover and the Asian eyes because the person who was stolen was her Asian friend. And there's a lot of politics in this. Obviously it's very contemporary read. It's going to kind of make sense for a lot of you to be reading this right now. I'm not sure in a few years it's going to be the same, because this book is very real right now. And I think this book is totally worth it. I initially didn't really like this cover, but now I actually really like it, and I'm really happy I have this copy. Then I went to a book event at Penguin, and they were talking about Go as a River by Shelley Reid, and she is such a lovely lady. I really enjoyed that event and I got the book, and I'm actually very excited to read it because it's set in the US, and I'm obviously, now that I'm in the UK, most books are set in the UK, so it's quite exciting to have a book that is set in the US. And I think it's going to be a very heartfelt book. It's just very sweet. So I'm going to enjoy this one, I think. I also got this book at the event for Asian authors, and I don't know much about this one, but it was like inside of a very cute package, so I got it. It's called Chlorine by Jade Song, and I honestly don't know much about it. I know it's her first book, and from what I read like very quickly on the synopsis, it was about a girl that is obsessed with chlorine. I don't know, honestly, but it just sounds okay, so I'm going to try and read this one. Then I got Disturbance by Jenna Blake. Not sure if that's how you say it, but it's a book about psychological abuse in a relationship, and things get very dark. I think it goes into the paranormal kind of thing, and I'm very excited to read a book that is horror, which I haven't done in a very long time, and this sounded like horror, so I'm going to give it a try. And this one was also being they were displaying this book in the office, and they were really just, I think, trying to get people's attention on it, so it grabbed my attention and I got a copy. Recently I got I'll Be Gone in the Dark. This book is a book I've been wanting to buy for a very long time, and finally when I went to New York a few months ago I got it, and I am super thrilled to have it in my hands because I was waiting to get this edition in specific, and I love this cover, so that's why I got it. And also because it's based on true events about a journalist that was trying to learn about, like, investigate about a murder, and she herself disappeared, and that sounds freaking great. And I'll Be Gone in the Dark, I also read that this phrase was said by the killer, and that like just gave me the chills, so I had to get this. Another thriller is The Woman in the Cabin 10, and that the reason why I got this one is because people were telling me great things about it, and I haven't read anything by Ruth Ware, I think, and this one I think is the best book by this author, so I'm giving it a chance, and that's why I got it. And also this cover is great, it has like the texture of the rain, which is cool, so yes. Then in my office I got as well the Romance Book Club. There was a friend that got it for me, and I'm thrilled about it because I really enjoy the content that booktuber that I follow all the time. She is called Olivia in Lattes. I really like her content, and she talked about this book, so ever since I had it in my mind, and I just sometimes feel like reading a romance, so this one, awesome, sounds great, so I'll get it. So I'm planning to read that one super soon. Then you guys kept talking about Educated like everywhere on social media, so I got Educated also because I've read a book that is called On the Savage Side, and it is based on real facts, but it's fiction, but it just gives me all those vibes of that like riverside wasteland kind of a hippie cult thing, and this one gives me the same vibes because this is based on a real story of a girl that was educated at home in a cult, and she suffered from that, and she suffered psychological and physical abuse, and it just seems like a very dark book, but it also seems like a book that has a lot to teach you, and sometimes why not reading something that is based on actual reality and live through the experiences of someone that has a very different life from yours. So this one sounds fantastic. Another book that is based on real events is In the Dream House, and this one I also got because you guys kept talking about it, and I am always going for the hype, and I really like the premise of this book, which is also about psychological and physical abuse, but mostly psychological, I think. I've never read it, but it's a girl that has been living in a very toxic relationship, and she wrote a memoir about it, and that sounds great. And also Jack Edwards read this book and loved it, so everything that Jack Edwards has to recommend, I'm going to want to read it. So yeah, and I love this cover, by the way, a lot better than the UK one. Then I got Spells for Forgetting. This is a read totally based on the cover. I like this cover, don't know why, it's just great. I love the colors, and it just gives me those witchy, like cultish, like dark vibes, and I'm all in for that. So I got it, and I don't know much about it, but I'm going to read it at some point. Another one that is quite dark, and I got it at an event, actually, this one. The Skeleton Key by Erin Kelly. She was such a lovely lady, and she was so funny that I just thought, well, this book needs to be read, because this author has all these crazy ideas coming from her head, and she seems so smart and eloquent, and she really knows how to make like an audience smile and laugh. So I got her book from that event, and I'm quite excited. I think it's a very dark book that will interlace like families that have lost something. I'm not remembering exactly what the book was about, but I remember being very excited when the author was talking about it. I got this book from a charity shop. It's called The Light Between Oceans. It's a very old book, and I used to, back then when booktube was new, I used to see people talking about it, and it just stayed in my mind for some reason, and I got it in a charity shop. So I just decided I needed to have it, and just in case, when I'm feeling like it, I'll pick it up. And also from what people say, it's quite dark and intense. So that makes me want to read it more. Then I went to the bookshop and I just decided to buy a bunch of books that I've been wanting to read for a very long time. And one of them is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And I've never read anything by Donna Tartt, I think, before. I do have a lot of books by the author, but I haven't read anything yet. But I started reading this one and it's great so far. It's an investigation type of book that has all the elements that a dark academia book should have. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm in the beginning of it, but I really wanted to get in because people were saying it's dark academia. It is a thriller. It is quite addictive to read, and those are things I'm quite interested in getting. So this book is also great. Then The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time. You might have seen this because it's everywhere, and every time I go to a charity shop, it's there for like 99 pence, like 99p. But I got it in a bookshop because I'm stupid, and I'm like finishing it. It's like I'm finishing this is 5 pages till the end, but I just keep putting it down because I don't want to finish it now. I wasn't really enjoying it. It started off being super funny, and then it got very sad, and then it just got a bit slow, so I stopped reading it at this point. But it's very cool because it's about this kid that is autistic, and he obviously sees the world in a very different way, and it's just written in his perspective, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of this book, so I got this one. Yeah. Then I recently also got The Eye of the World, and this is a classic for fantasy. It's by Robert Jordan, and this edition is great. Look, how beautiful is that? That's one of the best covers I've seen. So I got it, and it's fantastic. And I actually started reading it, but it was super hard to read, and there's a lot of information, there's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of like scenery descriptions, and that is quite exciting, but you have to be on that mindset. So I started, but I haven't finished it. Then I got A Life Ceremony, and I really enjoy like short stories that are like horror and weird, and this book has all of that. I've only read a story, but it's super weird, and this author Sayaka Murata also wrote a book called Convenience Store Woman, and I really enjoy that book, so that's why I got this one as well. Then The Perfect Golden Circle, and this book I went to the bookstore and I was just like looking at the books that sounded interesting, and I got this one literally just because it sounded interesting. It's about like 2 friends that go in the evening and they start this project which is creating circles in a wheat field, and that sounds weird, so I got it. Thought it was interesting. Then Queen Charlotte, and this book, I got this book in the office, and it's super similar to the TV show. So I'm going to donate it to a friend who would like to read it, because actually it's so similar to the TV show that I don't need to keep it. And then I went to an event for this book, Will Make You Feel Something by Florence Spark, and I am very excited about this book. I've been talking about it on social media and all kinds of places, and it's honestly so good to read about feminine health and feminine pleasure. I'm very excited that these books are coming and these books are being released. And Florence Spark is a person I really enjoy listening to on their podcast, which is called Come Curious. And I believe this book should be read by everyone that is a vulva owner. That's how you say it, isn't it, on nowadays? So I'm really enjoying this one, and I also got it recently on that event. We Need to Talk About Kevin. I got it in a charity shop, and it was a very good find because I really enjoyed the movie. It's a movie that makes you feel super bad, but I also feel like it's a very interesting take on the psychology of someone that does awful things. It just really goes deep on that, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff. And then House of Earth and Blood. And these books are from Fairy Loot, and I got the special editions because I was very excited about them. They always look super cool, and I'm not planning to read these copies. They are just copies to stay on the shelf looking pretty, and that's it. And then Throwback, it's a book that I started reading because people say it's similar to Exo Kitty, and I really like that TV show. So yeah, this one actually worked on this book, so I had it in my shelves because of that, and I'm happy I got it because I probably was going to buy it, but I'm not enjoying it that much. It gets too political when it's a book that was just supposed to be super fun and simple, but it gets a bit too much. So I'm like almost halfway through, but yeah, not the best thing. So yeah, that's it for this video. I got a few books. Well, let me know in the comments if you think I've done big damage or if this is actually okay and I shouldn't stress myself that much. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you enjoy my content, leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!